Let's get started with this project by drawing out your landscape. So I began with a rectangle for the houses that I wanted to create. Remember, the purpose in this project is to use primary colors and mix to make secondary colors. So I knew that I needed at least 6 houses on my paper. That's why you're getting this really big sheet of paper. Once you have your 6 houses made, go ahead and sketch out whatever you'd like for your interesting Arctic settlement. Once you've got your sketch drawn, let's grab some tempera cakes and a painting mat. You might have to paint in sections like I am so that it goes onto the painting mat rather than getting paint all over the table. You'll see how I'm kind of scooching it along to get the colors put on. The paper might be bigger than what your painting mat is. So just do the best that you can and paint with your tempera cakes. By the time that you're done, please have little to no white. You'll notice that I've got a snowy ground, since it's an Arctic settlement. My tempera cakes do have some white, and I encourage you to use some of that white tempera cakes onto your paper. It's pretty nice because you can still see your pencil lines through it, and it also just kind of gives it a more natural, realistic feel. Rather than it being beaming white, it kind of has more of an opaque or eggshell white. There, I'm starting to really like the way this looks already. One of the things that you can do with your tempera cakes as well is if you want to mix and blend or do a few wispy, spirally lines that might look like wind, you're welcome to do so. Let's take a moment and let that dry. Now that this project is got a good start, I'm going to go ahead and get some tempera paints now. You'll notice these paints are just solid paints that I'm going to start out my primary colors painting. You'll notice that I started with my yellow, then to my red, then to my blue. Between each of these colors, I'm going to have to wash out my brush and use the towel to dry my brush before I mix new colors. When you're mixing, remember, you're going to need twice as much yellow as you do blue to get your green. Yellow is such a light color. It's 2 scoops of yellow compared to 1 scoop of blue. I also am going to give you a little bit of white paint because when you're mixing your red and your blue together, purple is so dark, it almost looks like a black. Same thing when I'm making my orange. I'm going to need 2 scoops of yellow and 1 scoop of red to give my project an orange look. Let's take a moment and let that dry. Moving into the next step, I'm grabbing my black oil pastel, and this is my favorite step because it makes my project really come to life. By outlining and designing my project, it just made the project look amazing. So I'm using my white oil pastel to make it look like snow, and my black oil pastel is what gives my project life. It's going to make the houses seem to come much more realistic by adding in my doors, my windows, and any kind of decoration that I want. Think about different ways that you could decorate your triangular rooftop. Think about different doors or different windows that you could apply to make this project unique and interesting. There. Now let's get into making our own ideas into this landscape. I wanted to add some evergreen trees, one of my favorite things to add, starting with a light green, moving into a dark green, and outlining with black really makes that tree seem much more 3D. Now I was thinking about adding in a penguin. So when I'm adding in my penguin, it's nice that my paper is already white, so I'm adding in the blacks and the oranges to give it a little bit of life off to the side. I'm also thinking about some figures that might be, ice skating onto the ice rink. So feel free to create anything that you want into this project. These were just some ideas that I came up with. I can't wait to see what kinds of things you'll come up with in this project as well.